Can you use a coloring book on Shabbos that's not really a coloring book? This was a question that I was asked from one of our rabbis in Montreal. Apparently, the toy company Melissa and Doug has a coloring book where the pictures have no color in them, and you take a pen, really, that's just dipped in water, and you rub it over the picture, and all of a sudden the picture is colored in. Apparently this works by the fact that there's a screen, the picture is colored, and the water makes the screen transparent, and now you can see the colors. Is this allowed to let your kids play with this on Shabbos? So from a technical standpoint, it definitely is not a technical violation, not rabbinic and not biblical, even though, of course, coloring would be a biblical violation of coloring, which is prohibited. But in this case, imagine you had a picture hung on the wall with a glass covered frame covering over it, and it got very grimy and you couldn't see the picture at all. And then you took a wet rag, let's not worry about squeezing, and you wiped off the grime, and now you could see the picture. Obviously, that would be permissible on Shabbos. That's from a technical standpoint. However, it would seem to me it would be absolutely forbidden based on uvda d'chol, weekday activity. Because even though there's some debate what constitutes weekday activity, certainly anything that at an experiential level feels like a prohibited malacha, prohibited act, would certainly constitute uvda d'chol. One might have argued that it's even rabbinic writing. You're not, for example, allowed to write in sand or write on a window, which is very temporary and not classic writing. But that's different. There you actually are creating those letters on some type of a background, as opposed to here where you are just revealing something. So while I don't think it's rabbinic, I certainly think it's prohibited as uvda d'chol. And I would also add that it should be prohibited from a chinuch perspective. Because there's a debate about chinuch, whether the issue is that your child, you have to habituate them in a mitzvah or habituate them in non-transgressing. And is it enough that you create a habituation? Or do you actually have to get them to do the technical mitzvah? Can you let your child take a lulav and esrog that isn't kosher? Is that chinuch? Technically, it's not the mitzvah, but it's habituating. Anyway, certainly in this case, where you are habituating them to an experience that is like coloring, to me that would certainly be a shirking of your chinuch obligations and actually a negative type of a chinuch, and should certainly be prohibited from that perspective.